Padilla. Thank you so much for coming back to my YouTube channel. I want to give my brother a quick shout out for making that awesome video intro. A while ago, I made a video about anxiety and my journey with anxiety. In that video, which you can watch here, I mentioned that I wrote some poetry back in high school, and a few of my followers that had watched that video had requested to see or hear these poetries. So in this video, that's what I will be doing. So to kind of preference, these were some that I wrote in high school, and I want to give a trigger warning because I am going to be talking about suicide in some of these. So I do want to be like cautious if you get triggered easily or just have triggers at all. I want to give a trigger warning that these some of these poetries are a little bit more in depth about how I was feeling at that time. Also, these were kind of written in sections because this was like a project I had to do. So the first poem I'm gonna read was just one that was in like a past writing. So we had a project at one point, or a writing assignment at one point, that that we had to write a poem for. So this first one is called Every Time That Stupid Song Comes On, and this one is from the part that was past writings that we had to share in this whole final project. Every time that stupid song comes on. Hold on, there's a truck. Every time that stupid song comes on, it takes me back to my old crappy car and sitting in your driveway, begging my mind to not let it happen. I feel myself bursting into tears when I read and reread the text, telling myself that my world just went from painting pictures in color to not even wanting to paint at all. Every time that stupid song comes on, I feel my body tensing up and you saying, "Please turn it off." I feel the cold air hitting my skin every time that stupid song comes on. I feel my mind going back and forth from hating to loving you. I see myself in a cold basement screaming the lyrics I once related to. Feel the overwhelming feelings of losing everything I had ever wanted with one text. Every time that stupid song comes on, if it's at work or I'm at Target or in the car or any other location, I find myself back in the break room on Black Friday ordering your birthday gift. Every time that stupid song comes on, I think of the long night where I wrote down the lyrics and cried till 2 a.m. Every time that stupid song comes on, I start to wonder why it had to end that way. Why things like that always had to happen to a girl like me. Every time that stupid song comes on, I cringe in the thought that I can never play that song without you coming into my mind. Every time that stupid song comes on, I feel myself looking at gingerbread houses, thinking you should be here. Every time that stupid song comes on, I think of laying on the couch with you and the snowman my mom puts up for Christmas every year surrounds us. Every time that stupid song comes on, I find myself on the couch watching the parade and wondering if you would come over. I may not want you or need you like I once did, but let's be honest, I hate that stupid song. So this next part is from section 2, and most of these poems were about me, myself, and I, is what I kind of called it. So this next poem is called Titanic, and I started writing. I was sitting in another class, and I had this one line that is in the poem that just made me like it inspired me to write this whole entire poem. But I kept saying this one line in this poetry in my head during this other class, and so that one line kind of just inspired this whole thing. So this one is called Titanic. You'll never know what it's like to be the Titanic until you already hit rock bottom. You'll never know the battles that someone fights with their own mind, and how many times they've already lost a battle with themselves. How sometimes those battle scars appear on thick thighs and skinny wrists. How they use foundation and blush to get the voices to stop telling them that they're single because of how their skin has dots all over it. How you could connect the dots and get from your forehead to the bottom of your chin. You don't see them lying in bed till 4 a.m. wishing that someone just wanted them how Jack wanted Rose. And you're just like the Titanic, sinking. And someday you'll break in half too. You'll send out signal after signal just for no one to notice. 'Cause they're all miles away. And his cold hands hold your heart, just like an iceberg. He'll make you sink, puncturing holes into you. You created yourself. Your mother and your siblings will go on the boats before you take a seat for yourself, because you've always put others before yourself. And you've been known to jump into cold water for others. But someday you'll put your head above the water and notice that the world kept spinning. While you kept your head under the water, while you let the water fill up your lungs, the world didn't stop to save you. They kept swimming. And nobody tells you that when you put the knife to your skin, the voices stop. The voices stop telling you that you'll never be good enough. Stop and finally take a breath. They let the ocean turn into a desert, and you're left standing alone for once. For once, the voices are silent. But what they don't tell you is that it only lasts a few seconds. And it only takes a few seconds for the voices to slowly start coming back into your room and sit down on your bed and start whispering in your ear, "You're not good enough anyways." And I don't know how to tell my mother that I was once the Titanic. I don't know how to tell her that the signals were almost invisible. I don't know how to tell my mother that I'd always be the captain that goes down on the ship. You'll never know what it's like to be the Titanic until you've already hit rock bottom. This next one I wrote is called Yourself. And this one, I wrote about a friend at the time that was kind of changing, and I could tell that she wasn't herself, and she was trying to figure out who she was gonna be, which is fine. We all have to go through that. But at this time, this is what kind of came out of my feelings. It's entitled Yourself. You'll never ever get someone to love yourself until you can learn to be your own self. You can't find yourself at the bottom of whiskey bottles and plastic cups. And isn't it just so sad how much we all just want to be in love with ourselves? How many nights we kiss boys and girls, not because we want them to love us, because if they do, that means we can love ourselves. How many drunken nights do we have to have in order to finally find out that we're worth more than that? How many sad songs do we have to be sad to for us to stop wanting to be sad? How many times do we have to be broken to find out that we're only ever going to be the one who stays to put ourselves back together? How could someone love us when we don't even love ourselves? And can't even love ourselves long enough to look in the mirror? If we could change anything about ourselves, we would change everything. We don't really want someone, we just want to be wanted. But to be wanted, you have to want yourself first. It wasn't as long, but okay, so this one is a trigger warning. This one does go a little bit more into depth on my anxiety and my depression around that time. I remember writing this one, and it was in bed, and I was thinking to myself, you know, I'm not suicidal. I would never act on it, but I was obsessed with death around this time. I definitely spent a lot of nights wondering if I would be better off dead. I spent a lot of time wondering if maybe that would be better, if it would put me out of my misery. So this one is called Obsessed. They say death is a permanent thing, and I spent a lot of days wishing I was 6 feet under. It's not that I wanted to die, I was just obsessed with it. It's what kept me up at night, and sometimes it would help me fall asleep. Isn't that a little morbid? And didn't you know you could not want to die but think a whole lot about it? Living was just so hard at times. And it wasn't even that I was really obsessed with death. I was obsessed with the thought of who would come to see me, who would actually care. Or would it just be my corpse in the front of the room? It's almost scary to think about death, but not want to die. It's like walking into a room with no door. I wasn't obsessed with the idea of who would come to see me. I was obsessed with the idea that I wouldn't have to be obsessed with the thought of death. If death is a permanent thing, why do so many of us want it? So this next section is called Past Ghosts. So this was section 3. This next one is called Broken 2. You said you were broken, but I was broken too. I guess that was the problem. I had jagged edges while yours were curved and smooth. Two wrongs don't make it right. When you said you were broken, I wanted to let you know I was broken too. So that was a little bit of a shorter one. I feel like it's still very personal, though, even though it's a little bit shorter. Also, if you would like to see some more of my poetry from like more recent, I would also be totally down to do that as well. This one is called People Like You, and I remember reading this one because, or I remember writing this one because my thought process behind this one was this guy that I had dated for like 2 months. It just seemed like so logical in the aspect that we didn't date for very long. Like, it just seemed like he was like this cool kid, and people like him don't end up with a girl like me who has anxiety and depression and was a little bit on the quieter side in high school. So that's where this poetry kind of got inspired from. So this one's called People Like You. What they don't tell you about people like me, about people like you, is that you are dangerous. With your eyes and all your lies, you are dangerous. You have a way of casting spells on girls like me. There's just something about people like you that make it hard to move away from your gravity. I can't seem to let you go. And that's the scary part about being involved with people like you. So this next one is called Life Changing, and this one I also wrote about a friend. It was the same friend that I was talking about previously. At this point in time, like, my life wasn't really changing, and she was a little bit older than me, so she was going through some changes, like, earlier than me. Like I said, which is fine now looking back on it, but this is how I felt back then. And, you know, when you're in high school, like, finding out who you are is a really big deal, and finding out what you want to do and who you want to fit in with, it's a big deal. But, this one is called Life Changing. You said, "I'm sorry your life never changes." As if my life not changing was like having a canvas but no paint to paint with. Like telling me that while my life has not changed, my mental health has, and that's not life changing. How if I now see the world in color instead of black and white, my life is not changing. Signing up for my future is not life altering. And I'm sorry if you have to have your life changing in order for you to love the girl in the mirror. I'm sorry if you have to drink or kiss a girl in order to try and see if it will make a difference. Go to parties in order to stop the cutting. I'm sorry that you have to try and change in order to find self-love. And I'm sorry that you had to stand behind the trigger just to feel ahead. This next one is called Shouldn't Have, and it's a little bit shorter one again. I remember writing this one when I started liking this guy, and I knew it was going to kind of hurt someone when I started talking to them, but I did. And you know what? It ended up not working out in the long run, so it is what it is at this point. I think it's funny now, but here we go. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I just couldn't help it. It was the look, the taste. I was drawn into it all. I knew I shouldn't have done it. Considering the past, what you did to her, should have seen it coming. I knew I shouldn't have gone after you. So dramatic, I know, huh? Hate and Love, this one is called Hate or Love, and this one is kind of about how I felt about myself at this time. And at this time, I really did not find anything beautiful about me. Literally anything. I didn't think I was good looking. I don't know. I did not find myself beautiful at all at this point in time. So this one's called Hate or Love, and this is part of a new section called Hate or Love, and this is section 4. So all of these poems in section 4 are more about like loving yourself or hating yourself. They're more like in-depth self-worth type of poems in this section. I spent a lot of time looking in the mirror and hating everything I saw. In all honesty, I don't think I would have hated myself so much if it wasn't for that boy that told me that my nose was just too big. Or that lady at the store telling my mother I had dark circles under my eyes. Isn't that kind of sick? How much we listen to others' opinions of ourselves. How they get to determine whether we hate or love ourselves. Isn't it so disappointing in our mothers and grandmothers that we spend a good part of our childhood not finding ourselves beautiful? How 2 comments will take years of the right boy telling us that we are beautiful in order for us to even see a little bit of beauty in ourselves. How much time we wasted not loving ourselves because we got told we weren't beautiful by someone who had an ugly personality. And that's a whole lot worse than not being beautiful on the outside. I spent a lot of time looking in the mirror because of others' opinions. This one is at the age of 18, and I remember writing this one in a another class. It was like a social studies class or something along those lines. And I remember, I think we had to do like something where we wanted to talk about our future goals. And I started writing this one. It's called Age of 18. It's crazy to me that you can be 18 and hate yourself. I'm not talking just hating yourself for the dumb things you've done, but hating yourself for your looks. How society has told me at the age of 18 I should be at least 5'3" and should fit into a size 2. And if I am 18 and not a size 2 or 5'3", I'm less valuable. Or if I score below average on the ACT or anything else, I will never succeed in life. At the age of 18, you have to pick out what you want to do for the rest of your life. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders for someone who's only 18. You're telling me to go to college because it's what everyone does. What if college isn't right for me? So it's crazy to think that at the age of 18, I can hate myself because of the society we live in. So those are some of my poetries that I wrote in high school for a senior project. If you would like to see more of my poetries or more recent ones, I have been writing some new ones. So I would definitely be down to share some more of like my oh my god. Whoops. Anyways, I would be totally down to show you guys some more of my more recent poetries. So if you guys would like to see those, definitely let me know in the comments. Give this video a like, and while you're down there, don't forget to hit that little notification bell and that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching this. Be positive about the small things. Find one thing in your life to be positive about. And today, my small thing that I am positive about or happy about is this weather, guys. It is like 65 degrees outside, and it's like, it makes me want to roll all my windows down, listen to country music, and just jam out hardcore. But, you know, that just might be a thing that's gonna happen in a few minutes. Anyways, thank you so much for coming back to my video. I love you guys all so much, and have a great rest of your day.